truth. So what does that mean? That means they always lying to you. That means they're always lying to you. If I could get in so much trouble for just telling the truth. Cause remember when gangster rap was so motherfucking politically incorrect? When somebody would like lose their deal if they cursed and shit. Now what somebody would lose their deal for? If they tell the truth. So that means they all been lying to you. They've been lying to you. But we ain't gonna take this no more.
See, I'm not one of them niggas that know a lot about a little. I know a little about a lot, bitch. I might not be the brightest candle on the cake, but bitch, I'm lit.
I had found enlightenment. I had become a Buddha, an awoken one. The mind has a terrible enemy. His name is Mara, and he seeks to tempt and destroy. If I did not fear death, death had no power. Watching the moon that long night, I slowly understood that the way to avoid suffering is to free yourself from wanting anyone or anything, to be ready always to give and receive. I had found enlightenment.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna be.
Bitch on the ride of my back like a Mustang. I got a watch on my wrist, is a bust down. See ya. I'm tryna hop on a flight out of town. See ya. But I see my baby to bring it right round. See ya.
Yo, it's your boy, Mike Buddha Mike, back at it again with another TikTok live reaction with crew fam. Y'all know what time. I already know. Time to get in. Where you at? Where is you at? 5 thumbs up. We getting there. Getting there. Keep it moving. I hold you to it.
The 4th of July has nothing to do with what they say it does, and it goes all the way back to Mesopotamian worship of the fallen angels. In fact, the dog days of summer are the hottest and most humid days of the year. This period typically runs from July 3rd to August 11th, and this has to do with Sirius. The name comes from ancient stargazers. They looked at the sky and tracked a bright star. The ancient word for Sirius and dog days, dog star, goes back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, but it goes even further back to the Sumerians. They noticed that Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, rose with the sun during mid-July. Sirius is part of the constellation Canis Major. Canis Major means greater dog in Latin. This is why Sirius is called the dog star. Mesopotamians worshipped Sirius by observing its movements and linking the brightest star in the sky to the heroic war and agricultural god Ninurta, aka Saturn. They believed the movements of the star were messages from the gods, aka the fallen angels, dictating earthly fortunes. In both Sumerian and Akkadian language, Sirius was called the arrow. This ties in the 4th of July and fireworks, and I'll show you in a second. Because it darted quickly across the night sky, and because of its blazing brightness, this celestial arrow was associated with Ninurta, the vigorous deity of war, farming, and springtime storms. The very origin of our fireworks go back to bows and arrows, just like Ninurta, the mighty hunter, who has a bow and arrow. This is a mortar, and look what it says, a mini artillery shell. Ironically, artillery and archery share a surprising etymological connection. Both terms link back to the ancient Latin word for a bow, or the skill of using tools of war. The word archery comes from the Latin word arcus, which means a bow or an arch. Over time, this evolved to the Latin term articulus, meaning skill or art, and eventually became the old French word artilleur. which is where artillery comes from. And as we said earlier, Saturn, aka Ninurta, who was the Mesopotamian god labeled for Saturn, is the god of war, hunting, and agriculture. So it makes sense this celebration has to do with him. He is most famous for his legendary archery skills. In mythology, he serves as the ultimate champion of the gods, the fallen angels, usually shown aiming his bow at the monsters to restore order and protect the world. That's why there's also a firework called an aerial cake, and is a multi-shot firework that fires the numerous colorful explosions into the sky after lighting just one fuse. Cakes contain up to 500 grams of explosive powder and could shoot dozens of brilliant bursts. The word aerial means belonging to the air. It comes from the online etymology dictionary entry of aerial. It stems from the word Arius. This Latin word comes from the Greek word aeros, meaning of the air. That's why in Ephesians chapter 2 verse 2, Prince of the Power of the Air is a biblical title for Satan. And the whole Sirius star is the arrow believed to be shot from Ninurta's bow. Ancient artists often carved pictures of Ninurta, Saturn, in the sky aiming his star-studded bow at the giant Anzu bird. These pictures were actually how the Babylonians and Assyrians drew the stars, connecting Ninurta's archery to the constellations. Aside from his bow, he carried a magical talking mace called Shavur that helped him on his quest. The Sumerians named Sirius, which translates to the arrow, in their night sky. This nearby constellation, Canis Major, was seen as a massive bow aimed right at Sirius. Because of this, the arrow or the star was linked to the war of god Ninurta. How ironic that fireworks were originally weapons. In ancient China, inventors strapped crude gunpowder tubes to bow and arrows. You don't see the coincidence? Y'all don't see how this is literally worship for this same thing, just rebranded again? Archers shot these fiery arrows into enemy camps to cause fires and panic. Over time, these weapons evolved into the first rocket-propelled fireworks. These early fire arrows gave birth to the first rocket technology. Pyrotechnicians eventually removed the arrowheads to design a colorful skybound display for festivals. All the same origin. And how ironic that the Persians have a very similar thing done on July 3rd and 2nd. Yes, the ancient legend behind the Persian festival of Tigran involves an archer shooting a famous arrow to the sky. The legend focuses on a hero named Arash the Archer. Persia and its enemy Tehran were stuck in a long war and agreed to a peace deal. They decided the border between the two countries would be wherever an Iranian archer's arrow landed. Arash climbed a high mountain named Mount Damavand. He shot the supernatural arrow into the sky at dawn. The arrow fell all morning and finally landed on the banks of the Oxus River. Again, this is the rebranding of the same star, Sirius. Yes, they are the same meaning. T.L.R is the original ancient Persian Avestan name for the divine star we know as Sirius. Tigran, sometimes spelled Tyargan, is the traditional summer festival that honors this star. We know that stars are angels. Think of it like this. T.L.R is the character in the story, and Tigran is the party thrown to celebrate them. T.L.R in Persian mythology, also called Tyr, is the angel or god of rain. They're telling you it's an angel right there. A fallen angel. They take the form of a white horse and fight a demon of drought. T.L.R is the ancient Avestan name for the Zoroastrian and Persian deity of rain and fertility. It translates to the brilliant one or shining forth, and personifies the star Sirius in mythology. He battles the drought demon Apoasha, or however you say that. His name meaning is referring to shining, and may also relate to the third star, referring to Orion's belt or other constellations. It is closely related to the Sanskrit word Tishya, meaning auspicious. Both T.L.R and Arash merge in celebrating this holiday for them. Arash means bright, truthful, or shining like the sun. And there's his statue, an archer shooting up into the sky. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky with a visual magnitude of minus 1.46, often called the dog star. It appears exceptionally brilliant because it is both intrinsically bright and relatively close to Earth, at a distance of 8.6 light years away. Yada yada, I don't believe that part. So the 4th of July is essentially the same celebration that Tirgan is, just rebranded over and over. giving praise to these fallen angels. As we see, because the Persian and Zoroastrian tradition, Sirius is personified as the divine archangel and rainmaker T.L.R. And he has 3 forms he could take on: a beautiful youth, a golden horn bull, and a white horse. These are the 3 forms right here: that radiant youth, the golden horn bull, and the white horse. Now, another interesting part about the name Sirius, which is essentially the same person I've been reading about for the past 3 minutes, is it also means bound one. Some scholars note a link to the Greek word Syria, meaning rope or cord, making Syrios the bound one. By the way, how ironic that on July 3rd, DC breaks a 128-year-old heat record as historic temps continue. And it says, hell arrives in Washington from the Atlantic. Talking about this record-breaking heat wave that roasted the Midwest earlier this week. And how Thursday was the 2nd. Just like their celebration for this starts in July 2nd or 3rd. And look at the irony. Tirgan, the ancient Persian rain and archery festival, is celebrated annually on the 13th day of the month Tir in the Persian calendar. This date typically corresponds to early July in the Gregorian calendar, commonly July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
Maybe we gonna get our 13 days. 28-day months back. Or 13 months. You know what I'm saying? That'd be nice. That little brain took up there. I was thinking, I'm like, hold on. We got 12 months. We need 13. Why did it say 13 days? It was throwing me off because I thought it said day. Yeah, my goals. Try and get that laptop and monetization. The 625 still, yo. You almost there. Let's get it.
I don't give a fuck if the celebrities and these corporation owners are aliens. I don't give a fuck if they're shapeshifters. I don't give a fuck if they demons. I don't give a fuck. The whole point is most of them are some unrighteous motherfuckers doing unrighteous ass shit. It don't matter what the fuck they are. The whole point is they're lying to us and they're manipulating us. The whole point is they think we're stupid, and also by them feeding us the food that they feeding us the TV shows they feeding us the music they feeding us, they're making us fucking stupider. They know that as a collective we could take them all down, but they know if they divide and conquer, we're no fucking threat. And that's exactly what most of y'all motherfuckers do. It be people like me telling you the shit that's going on, but you be like, oh, that motherfucker just crazy, or they ain't talking about nothing. Let's go back to doing the dumbass shit we usually be doing that keep us fucking divided and separated and fucking stupid. These motherfuckers just sitting on they high horses, looking down at all of us, laughing they ass off. Cause this shit been going on for way longer than y'all think it has. Do y'all realize our calendars ain't even right? Do y'all realize there used to be 13 months and they fucking took out a month? And the reason I'm not looking at y'all is because I'm staring off into the ether so that I can focus on what I'm saying. Look, it ain't nothing written down over here. It ain't shit. I'm just staring off into the motherfucking ether. I hope this video reaches the right people. I swear to God, I hope so.
It's like predicting what's going to happen. Damn near, right? Like, we've been on track so far. I like. Yeah, you might have to start painting your house blue if you can start getting 101, man. At least make it look like you got water. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So what they say about catching rain and shit? Can you still do that, or is that illegal? I mean, last time it was legal, right?
A mask never left.
The expressional.
They changed the uniform, but did they change the message? There's a photograph, one photograph that was taken in Washington, D.C., not during the Civil Rights Movement, not during the era of Jim Crow, not in 1925 or 1955 or even 1965. A black woman sits alone on a metro train. Around her, dozens of masked white nationalists. She is seated They are standing. No words are exchanged. None are necessary, because history already knows the language. Today, hundreds of mass members of the Patriot Front marched through the nation's capital during America's 250th Independence Day celebration, carrying flags, marching in military-style formation, and concealing their identities behind white face coverings. The demonstration was protected under the First Amendment. Law enforcement monitored the march, and no widespread violence was reported. Those are the facts. But facts without history become amnesia, because America has seen this march before. Only then, the masks were white hoods. Today, they are white gators. Yesterday, they burned crosses. Today, they march in formation. Yesterday, they rode horses. Today, they ride metro. The uniform changes. The strategy evolves. But to many Black Americans, the message echoes through generations. For decades, these marches were never merely about exercising free speech. They were demonstrations of attempted intimidation, psychological warfare, public reminders of who believed they should rule and who believed they should remain beneath them. The march itself became the message. Know your place. Communities watched them pass. Parents gathered their children. Curtains closed. Hearts raced. Because terror never required violence to announce its arrival. Sometimes it's only required footsteps. That is why today's image reaches beyond the photograph. Because memory has a pulse. The body remembers what the history books often summarize in a paragraph. And then there is the mask. If this is conviction, why conceal your face? If this is courage, why fear being recognized? History has shown that extremist movements often rely on anonymity, not only to shield themselves from consequences, but to magnify fear through a faceless collective. Because fear thrives when no one knows who stands behind the mask. But perhaps there is another fear beneath the cloth. Black Americans have survived what has designed to destroy them. Kidnapping, chattel slavery, the auction block, the whip, lynching trees, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, segregation, disenfranchisement, and history records something undeniable. Attempts to erase Black Americans have repeatedly failed. America is changing. Black Americans are changing. So are the demographics of America changing. Some extremist groups have openly described those changes as a threat to the vision of America they seek to preserve. Yet your identity depends on someone else remaining beneath you. Another person's resilience can feel like your defeat, but resilience is not oppression. Survival is not domination, and truth does not need permission to exist. So today, do not merely look at the photograph, study it, because it captures more than one woman sitting on the train. It captures two visions of America. One still marching with yesterday's fears. We are still here. Not merely surviving, but creating, building, inventing, leading, fighting in American wars, raising its children, building its railroads, harvesting its fields, laying its bricks, creating its music, transforming its culture, helping build the very nation that so often denied our humanity. There is a resilience that refuses to die. From my biblical understanding, that resilience is not accidental. It is covenant. It is the hand of the Almighty One Yahuwah preserving a people through fire after fire, generation after generation, whether one agrees with that belief or not, and another still standing after centuries of attempts to make him disappear. The masks change, the names change, the slogans change, but the question remains, why so threatened and insecure at heart? Because until the heart changes, repentance remains far and judgment near.
The expressional.
Selah.
Yeah, they can't say that we scared, man, because we see that. You know what I'm saying? We've been seeing this shit. That's crazy work. Why is this dude still talking in the background? That's throwing me off. I refrain from judgment of others as we do not know whether they have already experienced I look at it like this: everybody has their own path, and they walk. Whether they choose to listen in a good direction or not, it's up to them, not up to you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not really.
I ain't never had stringy chicken breast until they elected Joe Biden. I ain't saying it's his fault, but something going on. The food ain't the same no more. Grits don't be cooking as long as they did. You can make grits in 20 seconds. I remember grandma had to put grits on the stove for 30 minutes. I can make grits in the microwave now. That ain't no damn grit. That's hominy. Biscuits. You can pop a can of biscuits. Them ain't biscuits. That is a flour compound. You is heating up a biscuit compound. Chicken breast be big as your damn head now. Every time I go out to eat, I be scared I'm gonna eat a damn human. You remember the fucking shit in Spy Kids? When they put the food in the microwave, press the button, and the shit turned into food? Guess what the fuck we eating now? This is not making any sense. Everything I eat got high fructose corn syrup in it. Why the fuck do blueberries have high fructose corn syrup in it? I ate some sugar-free cornflakes, and the first ingredients was high fructose corn syrup. That word don't even make sense when I say it like that. High fructose. That's just fruit sugar. Fructose. Fruit sugar. High fruit sugar. High sugar corn syrup. Syrup is the sugar again. Ain't syrup just mean sugar? So high sugar corn sugar. I'm just eating high corn sugar. Extra sugar on my corn sugar. And the niggas wondering why their knees is falling off at 23. Why niggas is getting diabetes in high school? Because you having sugar with your water. I don't want my food to sound like a fucking football play. Blue 42, red 40, yellow 35. What? Pop-Tarts. What happened to food? Natural ingredients, whole ingredients. I bought some yogurt with high fructose corn syrup in it. I ain't never ate this much corn in my life. The food industry needs to die.
Hmm. I think it's whoever's in charge of what goes and what is. They need to get fired. We need to hire somebody that knows what food is. Okay, and knows the difference between chemical and food. Chemical, no good. Food, good. Come from nature, natural. Everything's good. You know, it's the sugar, spice, all nice. You know what I'm saying? None of that. All dyes are bad. Keep it moving.
And what we all think it's doing is it's opening up portals to jump between space and time. And when it shuts down, we essentially are jumping into timelines. So like 2008 is when it got made, 2012, et cetera, 2020. Obviously, we know what happened then. So basically, it's not that I thought something was going to happen yesterday, okay? CERN is going to be shut down for 4 years until 2030. And if you don't know about 2030, then I can't help you. You need to go look on the internet. But it's not going to be good when it turns back on in 2030. It's not necessarily that I thought something was going to happen yesterday. It's really the thought process of like what's going to come over the next 4 years and like what that timeline looks like. That's why a lot of us believe the cornucopia, the fruit of the loom, the Fruit Loop spelling different, the monocle with Monopoly, etc., Mandela effects. Like, we get the gist. So essentially, we have jumped timelines at least a few times. And I would say, like, specifically, we noticed more in 2012 and 2020. CERN was shut down from 2018 to 2022. And this will be the biggest shutdown, and they are building a bigger one. And what is to come when that turns on depends on what you believe. But I know what I believe, and if you don't know what's happening in 2030, then that's on you. I know people can think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but let's be real. Things that are happening in our universe, like during this time, is it really that hard to believe? Is it really that hard to believe? If it is, then get off my page.
Not hard. Not hard to believe at all. I think they built their underworld utopia. You know what I'm saying? They probably bore out a couple billion cities. Crazy work. These people got underground military bases, cities, running it like Raccoon City off of Resident Evil. I could see the shit because they put it in your video games, put it in your movie and media. Everything's connected. You just have to figure out what pieces are real and which aren't. See, Angela, if you're eating food that makes you feel bad, you're not eating good food. You gotta eat fruit. That's what we should be eating more. Fruit, the H3O2 thing. Fruits have 3 hydrogen molecules, 2 oxygen. That's what you need. Move.
So this video right here is going to be important to all of those people who have just gotten known of me within the last couple of months to year. This is the proof that a lot of you guys be wanting me to do every day, but I'm not a person that feels I have anything to prove. However, on May 24th, I posted a video to the world. Let me show you guys. This right here was the video that I posted. And as you can see on the screen, I said 3 spirits were headed to America. And of course, a lot of people heard it, viewed it, and probably didn't get what I was saying at the time. But I want you guys to know, not only is that a prediction video, but it just showed itself to be true yesterday. So yesterday in Detroit, we experienced a sandstorm. Not only did we experience a sandstorm in Detroit, Michigan, but for all of this month and last month, we've been experiencing odd amounts of rain. Now, the 3 spirits that I told you guys that were headed to America, I said was the sister spirit, the wife spirit, and the mother spirit. And I told you that the host of these 3 spirits was God Isis, in which a lot of you didn't get what the hell I was talking about. Now, before anybody get to looking it up and claiming that it's normal for Detroit to have a sandstorm, the last known sandstorm, not because it was a sandstorm, but it mimicked what a sandstorm could be like, was 1934. And that's why they called it the Dust Bowl sandstorm. It's because it wasn't an actual sandstorm like we experienced yesterday. Yesterday was a pure sandstorm, which is odd. It's because the only way, technically, a sandstorm is supposed to happen is if you're in dry climates or experiencing a drought, like the 1934 Dust Bowl incident. But we're not experiencing a drought currently. As far as I know, the water around Michigan is still there. So the drought and the dryness is just not factored. Michigan, still to this day, is a pretty green, moist place. So yet again, what was this sandstorm we experienced yesterday? Well, remember I told you God Isis was coming with 3 spirits? I never explained in that video what God Isis was looking for and the warlocks that's coming to America on green cards to help assist with the ritual. Never stated what they were looking for. Well, here you go. So allegedly, the sandstorm that we experienced yesterday in Detroit is the god Set, S-E-T. And apparently the god Set is the god of chaos. So anytime you see a sandstorm, you are looking at the Egyptian myth god Set, bringing chaos. Now hold on, why would Set be bringing chaos to America if I told y'all months ago that God Isis was here? Well, guess what? Because to my surprise, God gave me something I didn't even fully understand, overstand. But Set and Isis are ops. I literally didn't know that. When I made that video for y'all, I barely knew a lot about God Isis. As I told y'all before, when I get downloads, I don't waste time. If I'm told to give y'all something, I give it to y'all. And now today, I'm just finding out that Set and God Isis are ops. So apparently, Set killed God Isis' husband, Osiris, and he chopped him up in 14 pieces. Would y'all like to know where he put him? Well, I'll break that code right here. So the myth goes, when he chopped Osiris up in 14 pieces, he put him all throughout the land, which falsely people believed he was talking about the Egypt we know over there in Africa. But I might have just discovered that Set brung 14 dismembered pieces of Osiris to the place we now call America, which is why people from other places want it. They're coming here in numbers and they're performing the ritual. It's because God Isis is here to member her husband back together so Iris can be resurrected in America. Now, I know that's a lot. And you got all of these propaganda machines right now that got everybody in America believing that this is Egypt. You got everybody over here in America now with these alts tatted on them and shit. And it's like I might just be breaking something huge that might show all of y'all to be getting dog walked right into a trap. That's a lot. So I'm gonna leave this right here. I'm gonna allow y'all fingers to get to going so you can see that I ain't on no bullshit. And I'm gonna need y'all to come back because part 2 of this might unplug some feathers.
Hey, he might be on something. But what if what we are actually living on is Set? Like Africa is the head, right? Dude broke that down to us. That's the head. And every other land is his body. We would be the heart, would we not? You know what I'm saying? The heartland, shit. Or would that be Lemuria? Or Atlantis? Hmm. That would probably be his heart. We'd probably be like the dragon that took him down or some shit. I don't know. Let's keep it moving, man. Good building. Like,
Governing body in Washington, D.C. job is to mislead you. Their job is, their literally career is to mislead and to misdirect. Because again, you're in a simulation, you're in a mystery school. Your job is to piece it together. Because you keep forgetting, you call this thing life as though you're supposed to just go to jerk work and blah blah. No, that's a reality they created, but inside of this reality, you're supposed to go within and to remember that, oh, I'm in a mystery school. My job is to piece back the clues that they give us, right? If you can approach life like that, you're a detective going around trying to piece apart clues because you come from the all-knowing, that like in a dream when you know the people, places, and things already, you don't need a backstory or narrative, but like you know that you know, that's like when you ask yourself, why did I do that? You will get a response because you have to go within. In is through, right? But they have to tell us so they can escape karmic debt. No. They have to tell us because we're inside of a game and they give us clues. Like the Bible is a clue in the larger conversation. Like they're clues, they're breadcrumbs going back to the house, right? Going back to our home, right? We came down here because we're infinite. We already have eons and 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 eons of life experience. So we come down into the forgetful place because outside of this realm, we are a hive mind. We know there is no hidden thing. There is no secrets because I know what you know and you know what I know. But here we get to separate ourselves, to have these moments of experience, right? That our souls are revealed to us, right? And that's why we keep coming back down. Yes, some of us are still asleep in the dream. And some of us are lucidly walking in the dream, right? We understand that lucidity or Lucifer, right, is the awakening, the activated in eternal light of the Christ showing up. That is a higher dimensional aspect of the third dimensional realm, right? You start being able to piece the things together, and everything they've already done, they're just repeating it. If there was a Yeshua and then they made him into a Jesus, a copper color Yeshua that they turned into a Nordic looking person, then you know they're doing it again. They have the same playbook. You're supposed to use past experiences. That's why they teach us a fake origin story and fake history. Because again, we're at a high level class right now. The souls that's in here are top tier souls, right? Claiming that we can come into the darkest moment and still remember. Well, this is your time to remember.
mm-hmm. Yeah. See, it's the construct that they're building anyway. Their plan is to make chimeras. Shit, you gotta remember that's what the whole jibby jab was about. Giving chimera DNA so that your offspring could be a test subject. They're trying to make the fellow. Let's keep it moving.
Bro, look at Florida.
That's where the water used to be. About 6 inches under that dock there.
That's where I'm from. That's what, bro, there used to be a canal there, and now there's no water whatsoever. And they're talking about how this area is being scaled for a AI data center.
The water was right here last week. And now, probably gone down another 100 feet that way. not much I can do right now.
Wouldn't you say this is exactly what's happening with AI right now? It's creating massive unemployment and making the rich richer. Because I showed you how this United States Water Reserve project is going to be announced on July 4th. And this project is very simple because AI is taking over and AI needs electricity and water. So what they did is they tokenized water on the blockchain specifically for AI. And ever since I gave this thing, it has been going crazy because all the water is drying up and people are buying up the water. So yeah, that's how I do my research. And obviously it's been working because this thing has been going crazy. So not financial advice, man. Go get you a Phantom wallet, man. Everything that you will need for this will be pinned in the comments below, man. This is the digital age, man. Let's continue to get it, y'all. Peace out.
Crazy. Real crazy. I wonder who brought the white horse famine to the land. Mm. Keep moving.
It's a commonly held misconception that the Earth is a spherical object that revolves around the Sun. But the fact is, of course, that the Earth is a circular dish surrounded by a barrier of ice that explorers have been attempting to penetrate for centuries. 2,000 years ago, an Egyptian scholar by the name of Eratosthenes performed an experiment that he claimed proved the Earth to be a sphere. However, there are serious doubts about the accuracy of his data and his scientific procedures. Dr. Leo Ferrari explains.
Oh, the Eratosthenes experiment is an experiment supposedly conducted in the 1st century, whereby this ingenious person was supposed to have proved, I say that in quotes, that the Earth was a sphere of some 4,000 miles radius. Eratosthenes one day noticed that the sun was directly overhead in Syene, whereas he noticed that on the same day, at the same time, the sun made an angle of 7.2 degrees to the vertical at Alexandria, which was some 530 miles away. How did Eratosthenes in the 1st century know what the sun was doing on the same day in two places which are 530 miles apart? One can take all those same data, knowing that the Earth is flat. In one place you have the sun directly overhead, and at another place, at the same time, at 530 miles away, let us suppose that it does make an angle of 7.2 degrees to the vertical. Then we have a right-angled triangle, which it can be easily shown that the sun is some 4,000 miles up in the sky. These superficial, even, considerations show that it's impossible. The whole thing, it's a story, a fairy story made up and mindlessly repeated in textbooks.
Fortunately, not all scientific arguments are based on such questionable research. The Greek astronomer Ptolemy determined to everyone's satisfaction that the Earth is flat, circular, and the central body in the universe. His theory went unchallenged for 1,200 years. Not surprising, really. One need only look around.
Everybody knows what it is. Moving. Here's what it is.
Man, it was a 7.6 magnitude earthquake. Guess where? Guess where? That's right. Drake's Passage, the first Levi that started it all for me. Oh man, this is starting to get good. Now, let's talk about it. For those of you who don't know who Drake is, it is the world serpent right here that can be found at the bottom of South America and the top of Antarctica. But if you look right here, I told you guys they were thawing out and they were going to start to try to move. Look at this. All right, this is a cluster of earthquakes. And there's one down here. See if we can get to it. Right there. That is a 7.6 magnitude earthquake, which was followed by a 4.9, a 5.7, 5.4, 4.8, 4.6, 4.7. Holy sh! Now, what does this mean for the world? I told you all. what they call global warming has the ice melting. And as the ice...
Mm-hmm. The sea level rises, so does the land that the thing. Got to move around, you know what I'm saying? You might make some earthquakes. But down the hatch, hope you live on a rock, live on sand. Hope that it's not.
How the fuck is it that pinging all of these men, they all have Israeli cell phones that are paid for by bank accounts in Israel? That is interesting. Every single person, even remotely connected with anybody here, especially this fucking newspaper that is pushing this psychological operation. Every single fucking one of you. You are under military investigation for treason.
Mm. Mm. You know, kind of like how, remember, America went over there and shit. Said, if you're not doing what I first say you do, at 5 o'clock I would come up and shit. It's the same thing, right? I mean, seems like.
Hey, what's up, America? I want to show you exactly how bad flock surveillance actually is. And I want to show you just 2 city blocks of a small town and flock cameras recording hundreds of different events of just random mundane life to be used against you, the general population, sometime in the future. Let's take a look. So what you're seeing here is approximately 2 blocks of a small town with several flock camera systems recording every single point of movement in the town as if it was something that might be a criminal offense, and then logging it here in a database to be used later against you if the time should arise. So this is just 2 city blocks, and this is the amount of data flock cameras found in less than 20 minutes. Hundreds and hundreds of different points. Flock cameras seem to be doing nothing more than tracking the movements of every single thing. Human, car, even animals were seen being surveilled by the flock camera systems. This is sickening. This is not just license plate readers. This is an everything reader. Every point of movement is being read by a fucking flock camera. Of course, here's your heat map of flock. Every square inch of human living in the United States is now being monitored by flock cameras. 110,432 flock cameras as of July 2nd, 2026. But as you can see here, most of the entire living space of the United States and any habitable area is now being monitored by flock. So you're not just being monitored on license plates. Every single movement you do in public is being monitored and sent to a database for use against you in the future. So let me know what you think about that.
Yeah, man. That's precognitive right there. If y'all ain't never seen Minority Report, I suggest you see it. It has what's his name? Tom Cruise in it. Distant dystopia future. But that's basically what they're doing now, you know, it's psychic warfare. Psychic warfare, y'all. Keep it moving.
Hey, what's up, America? I want to show you exactly how bad flock surveillance actually is.
Sony just made a lot of people upset, and I'm not talking about the 500 plus movies that will be removed from people's libraries in September. Today, Sony made 2 big announcements that shocked the world. The first is starting in January 2028. New disc-based PlayStation games are a thing of the past. Everything will be digital from now on. Second, they will be closing online stores for PlayStation 3 and Vita by July 2027. This was never about physical versus digital. This is about going from a world where you own an object the law protects to one where you hold access to what the law treats as rented. The disk signified ownership. The download means permission. If buying isn't owning, then
Stealing, or piracy as we call it, isn't a crime. Because they're stealing our money. We don't own this. We're just test subjects. Hmm. Makes you ponder sometimes. Are we actually in the simulation now? Because before, I don't think we were. Maybe this is it. We're gonna have to unite, fight against this corruption. We gotta form a better plan, make land plots. But then, what if they toast us? I don't want to get bombed, bro. I do not want to get flooded. None of that.
The National
all.
Guard killed a United States citizen today. And yes, you did hear that correctly. The National Guard killed a U.S. citizen today in Memphis, Tennessee, about 4 o'clock this morning. Tyron Johnson, who was 20 years old at the time of the shooting, was shot twice in the chest by the National Guard after what is being described as a pursuit gone wrong. Memphis PD and the National Guard chasing him, at which point he apparently pulled the gun out, turned around, and was shot. He ultimately succumbed to his injuries at the scene, and while I will not speculate any further on something that is still developing, I do just want to talk about what the hell the National Guard is doing, assisting in civilian law enforcement. Because this is your friendly reminder that this is a direct violation of the Posse Comitatus Act, that Memphis tried to get this shut down, but it was found in court that they didn't have standing to challenge Donald Trump's authority on the National Guard being deployed within their city. Soldiers are not police officers.
Not civilian police officers, or I should say citizen police officers or policy enforcers. They're more like military police, you know what I'm saying? But if we're rolling in the admiralty law, which would be martial, it would make sense. But we're not martial law, so keep moving.
If you get a DUI, reckless driving, careless driving, or speeding ticket from one of these cameras right here, you can get out of it every time because it's your Sixth Amendment right to face your accuser.
When they give you a DUI because you swerved a couple times, these speed cameras, they watch you as you drive down the road. AI now cross-references where you've been. I showed you on that video. So when you get pulled over, a police officer knows every light that you went through that day. So AI cross-references your debit card, your credit card. If you were at the bar, you had a few drinks, you swerve on one of those red light cameras, hit the yellow line as you're driving, getting a DUI right in the mail. And unfortunately, I guess we're now guilty until proven innocent. All of it can be thrown out if you just ask to face your accuser. Because no police officer, no one showing up at the court. Just like if you got a regular old DUI from a police officer, if he doesn't show up, they got to throw it out. That's this law. That's the law. So there's that.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm on show. Huh? Yeah, man. That's some shit right there, man. You can't see me on TVs. You can't see me on TV.
I was looking at you, not there.
This guy, you guys, man. Some people aren't aware of their surroundings. You know what I'm saying? We learn.
It looks like the gaming community is no longer talking. They are doing actions. They are canceling their PlayStation Plus subscription and canceling their GTA 6 pre-order. I think this is what Rockstar Games wanted to prevent because they know, this whole situation's under a lot of, criticism or whatever. And they're like, let me get away from the kablowies and the kabluies. But they didn't run away fast enough, I guess. And they actually thought we was just going to sit there and take it. Like, I don't know. It's like in the big 2026 is absolute crazy. They need to fix it. Fix it.
Yeah, man. Once I get this PC, I ain't playing no more PlayStation. If y'all gonna act this way, I like my games. I like owning my games that I paid for. I don't like that you change my game after I own it. Played it, you know what I'm saying? I didn't agree to that, but yeah, it's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Would be nice. We had games like we did back in the day where pause it and shit while you playing. Everything now keeps coming out as online. I'm okay with that. It's just that gets old after a while. Then you want to do some old shit. Pokemon was like one player game. Now you can play anywhere with your phone. You know what I'm saying? So, shit changed. I'm here for it, but shit changed. Don't be scared either. Just means you don't know what you're changing into.
We sacrifice humans every day. You don't even know it. Baal is a demon name. Y'all can look this up. Baal. So anytime you say you understand your charges, anything with, because that's a religion. Saying you understand and dealing with the public system, you don't have to deal with the public system. You could be private. But anytime you pay Baal, you're paying a demon. That's a human sacrifice to get out of jail. Look it up. Baal's in the Bible. It's in your Bible, man. If you're Jehovah's Witness, look at your Bible. Guarantee it says Baal's name like at least 100 times. Right. Or more. Baal. That's the name.
So every time you give, you pay.
How don't you have to pay Baal when you get out of jail? Do you even know what Baal means?
No. What is the Baal?
Don't you have to get a? So say we go to a bail bond company, right?
Okay.
So what's the second word after bail? Bond.
Bail bond.
So all they're using is bonds to even get you out. Everything is bonds. They're just brokers.
Never thought of it that way.
They're just brokers. You're dealing with bonds, you're a broker.
For Baal.
For Baal, the demon. That's why they wear the mourning robes. It's the Grim Reaper of the streets.
The black robes.
Yeah, it's the same one as the Grim Reaper, right? They wear the same robes, right?
Right.
Because you're dead. All rise. You just paid Baal.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that's religion, man.
Hey, he broke that down in the smoothest way possible. Like you gotta say you understand every part of that shit. All rise. Oh my jeez. Think he's the most high, huh? Huh. Oh, your honor, huh? Oh, not mine. Keep moving.
Dan Schneider has now broken his silence in a 19-minute YouTube video where he is interviewed by Boogie from iCarly.
Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret, and I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
They glazed over most of it, didn't bring up some really big concerns, but I will tell you guys what they did say. So Dan was asked about the inappropriate jokes and scenes, and he basically said that people 20 years later are now looking back with an adult lens, and they're seeing it as inappropriate when it was written for children. And had anyone brought to his attention that it was inappropriate or said they felt uncomfortable, he would have just cut it out. I find that interesting because Danielle Monet came to Nickelodeon executives saying that a scene just didn't feel right, she was uncomfortable, it was too sexual for a teen show. They aired it. So what was that about it being cut if someone's uncomfortable? Not to mention the fact that so many children were afraid to tell Dan no. He said something similar about the Fear Factor sketch, that had he known that children were uncomfortable, he would have immediately stopped, changed the script. It wouldn't.
See, once it comes out to the shining, it will get divine retribution. Now, if it doesn't receive it, No good.
The body of 18-year-old black teen Nolan Xavier Wells has been found. His white friends who were with him on the trip have already hired lawyers. Wells vanished July 4 during a 4th of July boat outing to Horn Island, Mississippi, about 10 miles off the Gulf Coast. A park ranger found him in the water near the northwest end on July 6th. His phone was not with him. It was in his father's possession. The island has no cell coverage and is only accessible by private boat. Search teams, including the Cajun Navy, scoured land and sea since his disappearance. Authorities have not said how many people were on the boat or who made the missing person report. But online video suggests a possible altercation before the friends left Wells behind. One friend is the child of a judge, and all of them quickly retained lawyers. Wells was reportedly heading to meet a girl, but instead his friends took another boat and departed without him. Why did his phone return, but he did not? Why the immediate legal protection? The family and activists are furious, comparing this to other cases where black victims' deaths were dismissed as accidents. Officials are awaiting DNA confirmation, though the family says they have identified him. What do you think?
What do you mean? What do you think? You know what the fuck we think, but it's what we know. No, this kid was sacrificed. Let's speak, of course, in my opinion. And we know these little white kids think they gonna get away with it. You're not. You're not. Your delusions are gonna be like you got a lawyer for a reason because you know you're guilty. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you wouldn't have needed a lawyer. You guys going to jail.
That's why if you go read about King Arthur and Merlin the Wizard, Merlin was a god. Merlin was an actual wizard who they couldn't do nothing with until they learned about how we are related to the drums. We are related to the flute. We are related to the violin. Okay? What do they call flutes in music? They call it music organs. Organs. And what do you have in you? Organs. Your heartbeat, your intestines, your lungs. They call all those internal organs. Because they all play music. This is why when music is played, it affects you. You feel me? It affects you to the core. If the beat moves, you move. In the inside, even after the beat stops, your organs are still moving like to the sound of the beat. Merlin was a real individual. They are using the C note in reverse. That's why we are all under hypnosis now.
Man, that's what that negative sound is you're always hearing. It's to stop us from hearing the ringing in our ears. They added one. It's a negative ring. DJ, what it do? DJ in the building. Keep moving.
Have you heard about the massive exposure coming out of the Epstein files? Independent human rights experts appointed by the UN reviewed the records and completely blasted the official narrative. They didn't just call it a domestic ring. They formally stated that the operation functioned as a transnational global criminal enterprise and explicitly warned that the abuse meets the legal threshold for crimes against humanity. You bet it does. What pisses me off the most is how our system handled this. The UN experts openly condemned the US DOJ for serious compliance failures and botched redactions that actually exposed and traumatized survivors while keeping the public in the dark. And look at the sheer scale of who's tangled up in these archives. The data analysis by the New York Times confirmed that Donald Trump and his family and Mar-a-Lago are flagged in over 5,300 files, totaling more than 38,000 mentions. While the DOJ claims that these are just news clippings, administrative logs, or unverified tips. Congressional lawmakers who looked at the raw database say that keyword searches for Trump's name return over 1 million hits across the unredacted files. Whether those hits are legal technicalities or smoking guns, the public has a right to see the unvarnished truth. Without the DOJ's heavy black ink shielding powerful elites, the UN experts are demanding total transparency, proving no one should be too powerful to face scrutiny. But don't take my word for it. Do your research.
Mm-hmm. Gotta do your research. Ooh, excuse me. Gotta do your due diligence. Get that information while you can. Stop it. Gotta look
So today
back at this message.
Today I woke up to a bunch of messages about our 2 astronauts who are stuck in space and still can't come down. We still can't rescue them. But they're wearing Christmas hats and smiling. And I remember that we went and fucking got them. Yeah. We went up, we got them, we brought them down. They had muscular atrophy. They were all fucked up. But now they're still up there. Am I going crazy? Because look, I know my videos are fucking outrageous and I lose my shit. That's intentional. That's my shtick. But right now, right fucking now, I'm experiencing a Mandela effect. Yep, a real one. Because I fucking know they came down.
Mm-hmm. I know they came down too. I remember. I think China. We sent China up to get them. They came back. You know what I mean? It was fuckery. Yeah. Mustard last.
So they turned CERN off. Am I the only one realizing that it seems that everything I think, I'm starting to manifest? I've thought about so much and it's just happening. I'm at a point right now where I'm scared to think about anything, especially anything negative. You know what I mean? For instance, I think about somebody, I see that somebody, and it's happening like that, okay? And it's just absolutely crazy. And I was just wondering, is this because they turned CERN off that we now have access back to instant manifestation? Because yes, I've been manifesting for a long time. But whenever it instantaneously happens, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing whenever you're in tune and you're manifesting like that. All of your thoughts are aligned and coming out like you're thinking it and then you're seeing it. It's amazing. You get to get ahead of life like that. You get to get way ahead of life like that. But I wonder if them turning off CERN has anything to do with the real-time manifestations. Am I the only one going through this right now? Let me know in the comments.
Damn, my picture went super small. I wasn't expecting to see that. It did. Keep moving.
Yeah, they're not gonna beat this allegation, bro. So news is coming out that they found a body just right off the coast of Horn Island, right? And they're saying that the body that they found is Nolan Xavier Wells. And now people are starting to look at his friends and they're asking questions. And the answers that are coming in are just not adding up. And the reason I said these guys are not going to beat the allegations, right, is simply because you don't just leave someone behind, bruv. Here's the problem. Horn Island is only accessible by boat. These guys went on the island on a trip for the 4th of July. They're buddies. Now the
They ain't buddies. They just tried to Jennifer body this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Anybody catch that reference? Know that reference? You know what I'm saying? Hit ones in the chat. They try to Jennifer body this nigga, and it happened. So these guys think they're gonna be famous. They're gonna be famous. Not in the right way though.
Everybody left in the game now is playing a part, whether they're awake, not awake, or a sleeper. Let them do what they came here to do, and let it go. Arguing, disagreeing, that time has gone. It's time to be calm and peaceful. Get on with everybody regardless if you can. Rather than have an argument, you walk away. It's a time of peace and harmony before the fun starts. And when the fun is over, the magic can begin. I'm looking forward to that. How about you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am. Looking forward to that day where everybody can just talk, laugh, and play. Be cheerful. Learn everything without being too fearful. You certainly need people. Otherwise, you won't understand what you have over there.
Smart TVs. And you want to know why? Because they said why. They're at war. They're here and they're in the middle of a galactic war. If you've noticed, there's been loud booming noises going off in New York City. They can't figure out why. You know, even though it's getting close to 4th of July, it's not fireworks. Then you got these orbs in a row, pink, red, blue, all in a row. And then you got these meteor showers. It's funny because I got a DM from a girl on the 17th who said she's been dreaming about these meteor showers. Right? Every night, every single night, and said that she finally came to the conclusion that she's a revolutionary trying to save people during wars and apocalypses, and said that these aren't meteors at all. It's advanced alien technology. They're missiles. They look like meteors when they come down. It's just remnants of alien technology. Yeah, so they're fucking at war. I believe them. I believe every fucking word they say. And you know why? Because it fucking makes sense and it fucking adds up.
Mm-hmm. You got point.
Pay attention. In the Webster's New World Dictionary, it says that unicorn is a mythical horse-like animal with a single horn growing from its forehead. This is a depiction of unicorn. This animal is mythical. It's fictional. It's make-believe. It's not real. There's none of these alive today, and no scientist has ever found a fossil of one, and yet unicorns are mentioned in the Bible 9 times in the books of Numbers, Deuteronomy, Job, Psalms, and Isaiah. And so because of this, people like to scoff at the Bible and say things like this.
So, now if you believe in God, you believe in unicorns, which is fantastic.
If we're going to use the Bible for science, we've got some tough things to explain. What are you going to do about unicorns, are mentioned 8 times in the Bible? I want to tell you what, we have never found a fossil of a unicorn.
By the way, where are the unicorns that are referred to in the Bible? Where are those, either in the fossil record or today? I'd like to see one of those. Another one of those interesting tests that continues to get failed.
Well, if you get an old 1828 Noah Webster's Dictionary, which is the very first edition dictionary that Webster came out with about 200 years ago, and if you look up the word unicorn, it says that unicorn is an animal with one horn, the monoceros. This name is often applied to the rhinoceros. Notice how this definition says absolutely nothing about a horse. It says nothing about a horse-like animal or a mythical animal or a fictitious creature. It says absolutely nothing about Greek mythology whatsoever, but rather it says that this is the name that is often applied to the rhinoceros. Wait a minute. What? The rhinoceros? You mean this is a unicorn? But the rhinoceros has 2 horns. How could this be a unicorn? Well, if you look up the word rhinoceros in the same dictionary, it says that rhinoceros is a genus of quadrupeds of 2 species, one of which The unicorn has a single horn growing almost erect from the nose. This animal, when full grown, is said to be 12 feet in length. There's another species with two horns, the bicornis. They are natives of Asia and of Africa. According to Noah Webster, back in the early 1800s, it was understood that there were two species of the rhinoceros. The one-horned species was called unicorn, and then the two-horned species was called bicornis. So basically, you get a 200-year-old Noah Webster's dictionary and look up the word unicorn, it says rhinoceros, then look up the word rhinoceros and it says unicorn. That was just 200 years ago. The Old King James was translated 400 years ago, in 1611. So if the definition of the word unicorn has changed in just the past 200 years from rhinoceros to horse, then it doesn't make much sense to take a modern definition of the word unicorn and apply it to a 400-year-old translation of the Bible. That's illogical. As a matter of fact, even today, the scientific name of the Asian one-horned rhinoceros is Rhinoceros unicornis, and Dicerus bicornis is the scientific name of a two-horned rhinoceros. Well, where do you think those scientific names came from? I wonder. Well, they came from the Latin. Unicornis and bicornis are Latin words. Well, that's interesting, because in Psalm 92, verse 10, the psalmist is praying and says, "But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn." If you look up this verse in the Latin Bible, the word that's being used here is the word unicornis. Unicornis is the same Latin word that's being used in the scientific name of the Asian one-horned rhinoceros. In Job 39, verse 9, God is speaking to Job and says, "Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib?" If you look up this verse in the Latin Bible, the word that's being used here is the word rhinoceros. Rhinoceros is the Latin word that's being used in this scripture verse. Interesting. Rhinoceros unicornis. Rhinoceros unicornis. As a matter of fact, in these 9 scripture verses, there's actually 5 different Latin words that are being used. Rhinoceros, rhinocerotis, rhinocerota, unicornium, and unicornis. These 5 Latin words are what's being used when the Old King James Version of the Bible says unicorn.
Hey, we growing over here, y'all. That's some good wisdom. That's some good wisdom right there. Well, we getting smarter every day. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't keep it moving. Let's keep
So to ask you a question real quick. If there is no bottom to the ocean, like you said, explain a volcano to me. Explain how molten lava comes out of the bottom of the earth with enough pressure that it burns any and everything around it. And it came, obviously, from under the ground. Like it had to come from some point past the water.
Past the water.
Yeah, the mantle was up under the ocean. That's what I'm saying.
Below the, I'm telling
So
you
you
that.
saying that's hold on, Zach. What you
Our Earth
saying
is built on
you
lava.
saying the Earth got an end to it?
Yes, it got lava in the inside of it.
Listen. The
It's
Earth has
molten
layers
rock.
to it, right?
Yeah.
So the core of the Earth is the mantle, which is what he's speaking of. And inside the mantle is
It's
molten lava. Which is a fire element, because when lava cools, it creates land, which is the continents that we live on, right?
Like
and all
how
that I'm
Hawaii,
saying is
all
this.
them Hawaiian countries.
We know that there's an ocean, but we only know the surface. We know we can't reach the bottom. But for some reason, there has to be a way that a volcano exists, that molten lava is shooting out the bottom of the fucking earth. I promise you it didn't start in the ocean.
So you think it's coming from the core of the Earth?
Without a doubt. Which is the layer underneath the ocean. It has to.
Have
like there's no way.
It has to start.
But
There is a bottom of the ocean.
But you know how deep the Mariana
Yes,
Trench
it
is?
is.
I do. And guess what?
What you mean?
The earth goes deeper.
Like the end of something, like we have North Pole, South Pole.
It's called the mantle. It's
Where's
called
the
the
lava?
mantle.
Just answer this question for me.
The mantle with the lava in it. That's the bottom of the earth.
Water.
That's the bottom of the water.
Because when lava hits water, it cools and it creates rock, which is the land.
We
live on land. Like, that is lava and water cooling. Over the course of however many years it took to do so. Like look at this. This shit right here is real. You can't tell me this is real.
This is what happens when you put niggas together in a hot ass garage and they ain't got no job. And somebody lit up the weed and all they got is one friend that questions everything. They all stuck in their old way. This nigga talking about mantle crust. He ain't even talking about the Leviathan, the let's call him Set. You know what I'm saying? He ain't talking about none of that shit. He ain't talking about none of that. Keep moving.
Y'all talking about everything happening in Europe when y'all see the stuff melting and the atmosphere getting hotter, and y'all talking about the sun is getting hotter. What's going on? What's going on with the sun? Absolutely not. It is not about the sun. The sun is not magically just getting hotter all of a sudden. No, the atmosphere is controlled by the water in the ground. The atmosphere is controlled by the ground, by the soil. The sun, it remains constant. The way the sun, the heat from the sun is going to be the same. That is not changing. What is changing is the soil, and the ground is no longer holding the water like it's supposed to. Why is the soil not holding water like it's supposed to? Because they are tilling the land with all of this industrial farming that they're doing, tilling up the land to try to feed all of these people, not going with the natural way that earth is designed to grow foods. They're tilling the land so much that they're pulling all of the carbon that's supposed to be sitting inside of the soil that holds the water in the earth to cool the earth down. They're pulling the carbon out of the soil and into the atmosphere. And when that gets into the atmosphere, it's no longer in the ground. The water is not able to sit inside the ground to cool the planet down. So the earth is drying up because the carbon is not in the ground, it is in the air, because they keep releasing it through these terrible, terrible, terrible farming practices, trying to feed all of these people and all of the animals it takes to feed all of these people. And they're pulling all the carbon out the planet, and that's heating the planet up. So now when those sun rays are hitting the earth isn't cooling down. We don't feel that coolness. We just feel that heat, because now the earth is holding that heat. We're feeling the sun. Is basically like a frying pan happening, a frying pan type of sensation going on. The ground is what's supposed to cool the atmosphere. And as long as the carbon is in the air and not in the soil, the earth is going to keep getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. The earth is going to keep drying up. We need the water back in the soil. How do we fix this? Just go back to normal farming practices. It's literally that simple. The more you plant, diversify the plant life in the ground, it pulls the carbon back into the earth. The animals grazing around the ground, the animals being present, the animals being there, period. It pulls the carbon back into the ground. We have to go back to the natural way. Unless the earth will continue to heat up, and we're just sitting and waiting for this frying pan to cook us up because there's no water in the ground. That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Overtilled land, not putting right. They only growing one crop in the ground. They should be growing about 3 rotations. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. They don't want to pay attention. They will though. They will though. I mean, shit. It's not like we got black people over there tilling the land and shit. I mean, black farmers, you know. I know 0. Big donut. But you know what? Oh.
And I asked him, what secret is he talking about? He said, yes, America is Egypt. He was like, that's what the Seminole War was about, the Louisiana Purchase was about. And he was like, look up this map. It's called Tamari. And he said, y'all, it's Tamarikans. So I went to look up at the map, right? And I was amazed he was right. He was like, that's y'all true nationality. And he was like, when the Seminole War broke out, that's when they won and they took over America and started calling them Americans, and they spelt it different.
On the Nile and Northeast Africa doesn't have stair steps going up it. It doesn't have temples on top of its summits. They could not go and break through the boat on the temples atop those great pyramids. There are none there. And that was the clue that Egypt was writing about the Americas. And the deeper I got into the records, the clearer it got. They started actually saying, and because Amun loved that land so much, he said this is the love land, and that word was Mary, the beloved. Mary, M-E-R-I, Mary. And the land, of course, as before, is Ta, the beloved land, Ta Mary. And they kept that name and just put the Ta on the end of it, so Ta Mary became a Mary Ta. We simply say America. We kept the name that Egypt gave to the Americas. So that was the big mystery behind that $10 million map that Martin Waldseemüller made and then put the name America on it in 1507. And then those who knew and those who were trying to hide things said, wait a minute, you can't put that name on here. And the next time he reprinted that map, it was off. It was gone. Because that's the name that Egypt had given the land.
Now you know.
Now you know. Now you know. See, look. Picking up the breadcrumb. Because we just followed the trail. It led all the way back to your name. Mary. They do love us too. They do love us. Want to be just like us. They want to be like Mike. I don't want to be shot though.
Pay attention to the digital paradigm shift. A lot of people are actually trying to package this raw aesthetic, right? And it's very disturbing to me because people act like something spontaneous hit them. Meanwhile, you got perfect makeup, perfect lighting, perfect clothes, whatever it is. Everything's perfect and curated, but you act like a spontaneous thought just hit you and you just had to record this. Stop the cap. So what the Matrix is doing is actually training people to be professional, raw, cultural people. So now that they actually appear to be one of you, it actually lowers your conscious defense mechanism, allowing the Matrix to bypass your mind and implant whatever its intention originally was. That's the reality. So algorithms actually adapt just like evil, right? And people who benefit from this and monetize from these things, they're adapting and pivoting as well. So right now we're in the paradigm shift of the raw aesthetic pivot. All right. So if you've got a channel, bro, don't worry about the makeup. Don't worry about wearing some fancy dress, some expensive jewelry online. Who are you trying to impress? Anybody? Some brokey? You know what I mean? Somebody you don't know and don't love you. Somebody who's going to choose somebody else next week. Stop playing with me. Somebody who was just scrolling. Stop. Just be you, be real, be raw, and I'm telling you, the algorithm's going to work with you. I'm gone.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing what dude been saying. Y'all coming and I'm praying. Moving to the next segment. Yeah.
TikTok, this just for entertainment purposes. Now listen, I've already taught you about the Yaqub story, right? Well, I've also taught you about cavemen, or as the Quran calls them, people of the cave. Yes, sir, in Surah 18. You know, them people that's always with their dog. That's all I'm saying. Hear me out, though. I'm finna break down the Genesis origins of where it all began. It's all the same story. It's all the same fucking story. Jacob in Genesis 2, bitch. Jacob is Yaqub. Pay attention. Let's get to Genesis 6. Let's take it back where the sons of God saw and knew the daughters of man, that they were fair, right? What does fair mean? Fair means light of skin. So let's take this all the way back. Where did these bitches get light skin from? First off, you got to understand who the daughters of man are. The daughters of man are the daughters of Cain. Mark of Cain is albinism. That's what happened. Cain was marked. Cain wasn't cursed. Cain was marked to look like the gods to protect him. So they made him look like them. Albino. These gods. I'm talking about these fucking hateful motherfuckers that played with our DNA and shit. These motherfuckers were not gods, not the Most High God. These motherfuckers was Nordics. I break this down in my book, Principles of the Living Word. But listen to me, it's very simple. Cain slept with the natural inhabitants of this planet. These motherfuckers was like, they were like monkeys, but they were somewhat amphibious. Yeah, if you guys ain't look at it, Rama is Cain. Rama built Adam's bridge. Rama and his monkey man. Rama smashed one of them monkey men, nigga. Yes, sir, he did. Yes, he did. Now, the mark of Cain was a different pigment of skin. Gotta think about this. Everybody want to tell you some dumb shit like Cain married his sister. Where, bitch? Where? It don't say that. He tell you that there was other people and that the people would kill him. How else? Why else is that a mark of Cain? Yeah, y'all be reading that Apocrypha that is not canon, but y'all try to make it canon. Everybody always want to read everything but the Bible to understand the Bible. You sound dumb. In case you were wondering, this is why they keep trying to tell you that you evolved from apes. That shit was not natural, though. That shit was not natural. That shit was manipulation. When them Anunnaki came down, who are also the Elohim, bitch, how dumb are you to think that the Anunnaki is one race of being? It literally means those that from heaven came down. So anything that came down from heaven is Anunnaki, including the Elohim. I've shown you in other videos and my book, Principles of the Living Word, original man on this planet was a mammal. Yes, it was like a primate, like a fucking amphibious primate. Yes, it was. Sure enough did. The amphibious primate that was also a motherfucking hermaphrodite. Yeah, it could mate with it. It could mate with other. It could be male or female. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It fit whatever it wanted to be. Sometimes it's the girl. Sometimes you're the girl. Sometimes they're both the girl. It don't matter. What I'm saying is, this is how we were made, or in the ways the Bible says, created male and female, created him they both, which meant one being that was both male and female. We didn't become man and woman until this Yahweh nigga came along. Some of you people doubt this story. I like to call them idiots, but let me tell you why y'all doubt it. Ain't no way man was both male and female. Ain't no way man was a hermaphrodite. Then how the fuck do you pull Eve out of Adam if Eve wasn't already in Adam, bitch? Shut up. Shut up. These next concepts I'm about to get into might be a little deep for motherfuckers who ain't never grew Zaza or who ain't never bred nothing before. So look up Mendel's Law and the Punnett Square just for reference. I know we learned it in high school, but some of you niggas was high in school. Pay attention. Everybody know when you breeding it, whenever you breeding something, you gotta lock in phenotypes. Before you can call whatever you breeding it, before you can say this is it, you gotta lock in them phenotypes. That's what you're doing when you breeding. You taking some from this, take a little something from there, and you put it together, and you wait, okay, this got big buds, I want these big buds over here. This got big buds, and this got big buds and a lot of crystals. Let's mix that together. Now in the in-between, you're going to have some plants with little crystals, some plants all crystals, some plants big buds, some plants with no buds, some plants that's going to hurt me. You know why? Because you ain't locked the phenotypes in. It's all a part of breeding. So what do you think happened when Seth children, the sons of God, who they phenotypes weren't locked in. Remember, they wasn't in the garden for one generation before they got kicked out. They ain't had no kids in the garden, nigga. They was already kicked out, phenotypes going crazy. Check this out. They sleep with some of Cain's children. Yeah, he didn't mix with the monkey peoples, right? And now what you got? You got a whole bunch of fucking random shit coming out. Yes, they did. You had all type of Nephilim is what you call them, because the sons of God, the sons of Seth, saw and knew the daughters of Cain that they were fair. You know what I'm saying? They smashed them. You had all type of little variables in these mutations. Think about how many different, man, they had dwarfs, fairies, hobbits, all these bitches is fucking variations. Now, I know some of y'all thinking, but I thought the Nephilim was giants. Where does it say that in the Bible, that the Nephilim were all giants? Show me one motherfucking verse. It don't say that. It says there were giants in those days and after. It's not the same. That is not the same as saying the Nephilim were all giants. You motherfuckers aren't bright at all. Nephilim that are still here now, they the ones before the fucking flood. Yes, they is. You know why? Because we put them little motherfuckers in the cave well before the flood. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. This is what every fraternity is teaching you, man. This is the reason why in Freemasonry, we walk niggas across them hot sands, them burning sands. Yes, it did. Yes, we did, because that's what we did to them. Them motherfuckers was acting a fool. They was eating folks and shit, G. Yes, they was. They was bloodthirsty and they could not fucking listen. The ones that could listen stayed, and we kept them in the Holy Land. This is what we nowadays call the modern Arab and the Asian. But other than that, we took these motherfuckers the way they are. Yes, sir, at the time it was a king of a land called Kush or Kim, whatever you want to call it now. You call it Egypt now. It was the king of Egypt at the time that came from northern Egypt, which you nowadays call southern Egypt, but y'all don't know no fucking better. Hear what I'm saying? Say, look, get these motherfuckers the fuck up out of here. Get them up out of here right now before we murk them all. So what they did was they snatched them up. Also, we took them and we marched them. Not only did we march them, we snatched them up however they was, disheveled. We took them barely clothed. We blindfolded them and tied them neck to neck like chattel slavery. Or as we say in Freemasonry, hoodwinked and cable-toed. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Neither naked nor clothed, barefoot nor shod. Yes, we did. We took them across them burning sands, my guy, and locked them up in them caves, G. And as the Quran says, only Allah knows how long they were in the cave. They were in the cave thousands of years. They ain't get out the cave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They could have went on some more, but you know what it is, man. TikTok be moving with some more Rashad Jamal.
I know this is our land, and I know why y'all came in me. Like I know why y'all come in my people. I know why they pour black people carbonated beans over and shoot y'all and arrest y'all and fuck with y'all, why they drug the food, why they fluoride the water. Nigga, read history. You ain't got to go back that far. You ain't got to know none of the cosmic shit I'm telling you. Just go basic history, nigga. Nigga, they said they burnt down 5 churches. Why? Because they knew this would strike at the spiritual source of the community. That let you know right there, nigga, Jesus ain't real, nigga. That let you know right there, nigga, what church is all about. To make your ass passive, nigga. Before church, we was fucking shit up around this bitch. Then they came with that church shit. Worship your slave masters. It's okay because Jesus suffered, so you can suffer like him. He died for your sins, so you should suffer like he did, and you'll get your heaven after you leave. Nigga, fuck the heaven after we leave, nigga. We want heaven right here, right now. Fuck, we gotta leave for to get some peace around this bitch, nigga. They burned churches. They did more than that. Don't forget who's telling the story here. You can't never expect no human being to tell you the truth about you. Don't forget who's telling the story here. He's still laying it on light, nigga. Y'all better go read Uncle Tom's Cabin. And then you wonder why I be like that with them. Why I be on that energy with the racists and the elites. Why I'm on that energy with 12, nigga. Smoking dead cops. You goddamn right, nigga. Give a fuck what color you is, nigga. You a op if you behind that badge, nigga. Cause I know what that badge really mean. I know who the laws was made for. Me and my motherfucking people. But niggas walking around thinking they free. Now imagine that. Nigga, we was going to church and everything, niggas. And y'all, niggas wasn't even safe in the church. And then you wonder why when Hurricane Harvey hit, Joel Osteen, this thing to get to me. Y'all try to talk about Isis Wisdom, Kali, even Pharaoh, me, or anybody in what y'all call the conscious community, that if they do make any type of dollars. But you ain't said shit about Joel Osteen, though. Because the last time I checked, ain't nobody made more money off black people than Joel Osteen and Jesus. And when Joel Osteen made billions off of our black people, nigga, when Hurricane Harvey hit, he wouldn't even open the doors. People forget about that. I don't. I take it personal. That's why I go out my way to remind motherfuckers, remember who you are. Nigga, remember who they is. Nigga, they ain't never changed. Only motherfucker changed is us. Nigga, they the ops. Niggas been up there with their ass generation after generation, nigga. So why the fuck this generation want to be so soft, nigga? Now it gets to this generation, niggas want to blame each other. Oh, you know, black people, they own worst enemy. I'll snap your motherfucking neck with my bare hands, nigga. I ain't trying to hear nothing from none of you house Negroes to be, oh, why he talks with all, he full of race. You goddamn right I am, nigga. Look what they did to my people and still doing. And niggas want to be nice. Ain't no other way to feel about this shit, nigga. Ain't no other way to feel, nigga. I'm killing kids, they kids and all, nigga. Anything vibrating low, nigga, ain't nobody safe, nigga. Was our kids safe? Did they give a damn about our women, nigga? Our kids, no, nigga. So what the fuck I'm showing mercy for? Then you bitch ass niggas want to get on my lap. He just said, you goddamn right I'ma kill the kids, nigga. Every motherfucking kid in the house, if I come up on your motherfucking house and you on that low vibration, nigga. It's war, nigga. I don't give a fuck, nigga. You send the marshals, nigga. You make a case, nigga. It's war with me. I ain't honoring shit, nigga. Yeah, I will leave this motherfucking avatar, nigga, before I be a slave around this bitch, nigga. Y'all can have that shit, nigga. Because I know after this world, I am forever free, nigga. Finna be nice. Did you hear what he just told your ass, nigga? They burnt the churches down too, nigga. Once again, you know they took the land, but is it sinking in your soul how they took our land?
Yeah, man. Free the guy. Even though they want to keep him locked up, free the guy. You know what I'm saying? He ain't doing nothing but recruiting in there anyway, preaching the word, teaching people.
And the Levi's are starting to feed. Now, let's talk about it. Now, before we get started, I'm sure that you all are familiar with this. You can clearly see exactly what that is. All right? You can see the scales. You can see the nose holes there. And the eyes. One's bright and the other is there. All right? Now that I got your attention, let's get to it. And TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes only. But for those of you that seen those other nose holes there, there's another here in the Caribbean. These are those same nose holes, all right? That is a lip right there. This area over here is Boca del Dragon. That is the mouth of the dragon. That is the name of this place. You can look it up. That's where that is. And there is the mouth of the dragon there. This dragon here, all right, goes through. You'll see him. I'll tell you, this one's like a cobra. All right, all the way out to the horn. The horn goes out into the water. All the way there. Comes back around. All right, so once again, we're going to follow it.
I really wish that dude would put some better green screen over his shit. If he's not doing due diligence. Not. But in order to play what he has to play and do what he has to do, he has to go and take that measure on TikTok.
Hey, I might not be a prophet, but all my prophecies been coming true. If you've been paying attention, I done said at least for a month now, we finna have 4 years to get our shit together, to work on our will, to learn to channel our manifestation, or we out the game. You heard me say, cause if we don't learn this in 4 years, then you can't win. You can't get even. You can't get out of the game. I tell you this, then a week goes by, and they shut down CERN for 4 years. Pay attention. I told you Our algorithm, our global algorithm in this simulation is changing, and we finna start seeing servers drops. The algorithm in this matrix that we live in, this simulation is changing. And you know what? They finna start dropping servers. Yes, we is. We finna lose a whole bunch of NPCs. Less than 2 weeks later, we down 1,300 francs. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Hear me out. I'm finna drop another prediction for y'all. Y'all ain't ready for this one, but it's the truth. Baby, the South shall rise again. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And I know some of y'all people that be LARPing, doing the reenactments of civil wars, y'all got proud on the inside. Bubba, I told you, that ain't the South I'm talking about, bitch. Think bigger. Hear what I'm saying. Why do we got 3 Norths, but only 2 Souths? I'm going to say that again. Why we got 3 Norths, but only 2 Souths? Better yet, for ones that know, where is Southern Egypt in real life and where is Northern Egypt? I'm telling you right now, the South shall rise again. Now, if you don't understand it, I don't know what to tell you, because TikTok, this is just a joke. This entertainment purposes. What the fuck do I know? For all I know, I'm going to start adding 20 years to my age whenever I tell white people how old I am. I just want to infuriate them about how much black don't crack. It's all been a joke. But listen to me, if you're interested in learning how to manifest your will, how to train your will so you can train your manifestations, guys, the link is in bio. Get The Way of Stillness. It's only in PDF form. I ain't even make a motherfucking hard copy of this because I just want you to get the shit on every platform, bitch. I want you to read this on your PS4. I don't give a fuck. I made it cheap for you, nigga. Get the motherfucking book.
Damn, he said, I want you to read it on your PS4. Why, nigga? Just get it. So I fuck with him. Man, oh man, oh man. Atlantis is Atlantis. Yes, Atlantis is Atlantis.
Don't let them fool you. Revelation chapter 20. The release of Satan. It's real. It's here. It's now. Keep a sober mind. Don't be deceived. Like, follow, share. God bless. Sam out.
Amen.
Okay, I'm gonna explain to y'all why they put the dome over the earth. Okay, so before the Zedic rays got here, there was no dome over the earth. Everything was, you could see everything blue Katrina. We had 3 suns, right? But the giants, right, they were so fucking huge. And they were sent out by the Zedic rays to chop down trees and knock down the crystal pyramids and such. But the only way that we could take out the giants, because of their massive size, was to suffocate them and also trap the Zedic rays here, their ship. We wanted to trap them here so that we can come back and fuck them up for what they did to us. So basically, when they put that, electromagnetic dome over the earth, the giants fucking suffocated and they fucking fell down on their backs and they just started suffocating because they couldn't breathe. So these smaller giants here were the survivors of like they children. So it's like the survivors, and it's always a pituitary gland dysfunction called gigantism, and this is where these people come from. They come from the giant races. So when you see these pictures, you think, oh, this happened a long time ago, but nah, bro, this stuff is recent, bro. Like 300, 400 years ago, even when George Washington, they're starting to say was a giant to himself. A lot of these colonialists, when they came here, they were tall as fuck. They were like 20 feet, 15 feet tall. So don't think that we were just running from regular people. As time progressed, they started shrinking down in size because the oxygen levels, they weren't able to grow to their massive size. So this is what's really going on, bro. You got to keep your eyes open.
I mean, it was either that or everybody was small as fuck back then. So, I mean, 5'5" was regular height back then, remember? Anybody remember? I don't know. I know I ain't speaking to myself. Y'all know. Don't know. How you know?
Is anybody else still tripping out? Because it feels like once they turned off that Hadron particle collider, it feels like things are on the up. So the crazy part about that is, you know how everybody on the internet says we're living in the Matrix and it's a simulation. If that machine is able to run for 17 years and actually manipulate the Matrix and cause everyone in here to vibrate differently, that's pretty interesting. So it's just crazy that right now you have people in this world who are sensitive to vibration feel as if things changed or the timeline changed. So pretty interesting, guys. Been off for now 4 days, and we're seeing interesting things happen in the world. And this might be the 4 years, that you're able to do something. So use that time while this thing is off to make your reality the best it can be. Peace and love, and I'm out.
Yeah, man. That's real shit right there.
A nuclear reactor was just turned on in the water supply of 50 million people. Operation Gigawatt. Underneath the command of Governor Cox and at the acceleration of President Donald J. Trump, allowed a company called Valor Atomics to install a nuclear reactor inside of a place where my family has lived for 8 generations. And I don't think you guys even understand. There are people that say they're pro-nuclear, which is the flippin' craziest stuff. That is insane to me. That is insanity. Like, think about what you're saying.
I don't know what she's talking about. We like nuclear energy. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's clear. Huh? Move. Wait.
A nuclear reactor was just turned on in the water supply.
See, CERN is not the name of what everyone is saying that is shut off. CERN is the name of the organization that created the LHC. The LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, is what in fact has been shut off. Now, CERN was developed somewhere around 1954 as an entire organization. It was developed off the border of Switzerland and Europe because the amount of energy that it takes to power CERN as an organization requires every small town around there to be effectively blacked out, because that Hadron Collider that is at the center of all of this requires massive amounts of energy. This Hadron Collider was built from 1955 all the way up until 2008, when they completed the massive assembly of this particle accelerator. Now, if there is this massive thing, right, that can take 2 atoms, and if you know anything about microbiology, atoms are the smallest unit of matter, and they take up what is called mass. So by driving 2 atoms into each other, which is how they think we got here, the massive explosion that created the universe, they drive them into each other. They were able to recreate something that is now called the God particle, the particle that was responsible for everything. And that's why they're using a particle accelerator. So they are trying to create an alternate reality, and they're shifting our experience by using Big Bang theories, which is driving our energy and matter into each other and separating our timelines, changing the trajectory of the future. I believe that CERN, yes, they are in scientific research, but I do think they are also invested in time travel. That is why it seems as everything crumbles when it turns on and off, because they are using particle acceleration energy to change the trajectory and timeline to either go back and come forward and to change history and to change the outcome of certain events by knowing the timeline they shifted to.
And that's the fact, EJ. They did find it. They didn't build it. chicken, check in.
Let's be clear, cops are the biggest gang in U.S. history. I'm Eliza Orleans, career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan, and I want to talk about how the cops don't serve the people. They serve the system. And in fact, police departments are organized like gangs. They have ranks, initiation rituals, strict codes of silence, and a culture of loyalty above all else. What's the difference? They have legal authority, weapons of war, and state funding. And when they hurt or kill someone, the system protects them. Prosecutors hesitate to charge them, and judges defer to them. And then their unions ensure that they face no accountability. They keep their jobs and their pensions regardless of how abusive they are. Can you imagine any other gang that could operate in that way, where they beat the hell out of people on the street in broad daylight, videotaped by citizens, still face zero repercussions for their actions? They operate with impunity. And meanwhile, traditional media just gobbles up their press releases and allows them to shape the narrative. So, don't buy the propaganda. Make sure you're following me here and on all.
Mm-hmm. That's real propaganda right there. For real, for real.
Hey, has anybody else noticed that they've segregated your city by construction this year? Like, is that a thing? Did all the cities just plan to do a bunch of construction on all the main roads? Is that, I mean, I guess it could help us out, but I think it was intentional.
What?
Hey, has anybody else noticed that they've segregated your city by construction this year? Like, is that a thing? Did all the cities just plan to do a bunch of construction on all the main roads? Is that, I mean, I guess it could help us out, but I think it was intentional.
Yeah, is there construction in your town? Like right downtown? Weird. I got a whole bunch.
Man, get in here. So you want to learn what the word anti-Semitic means? You see this black brother? He's indigenous to North America. And when they use the word anti-Semitic, from the old times, in the 1600s when they got their ass here, and they say Plymouth Rock, we did not land on them, they landed on us. Let me show you something. I want you to take a screenshot. And I'm about to take a shot of the liquor, but go and take a screenshot. But they say Negroes who urge white black are anti-Semitic, right? So, the dangerous part about that, they came with nothing. But when we start buying with anti-Semitic and not buying black, they bought basketball teams, football teams, and they bought the internet, and they bought all this and created money and all this, and everything is landed on us. It's the biblical prophecy, because they said, who shall cling to the biblical people of the Bible shall prosper. And that's what they knew. They knew that shit from the beginning. And they had to come up with the word. How can we cling to the biblical people? Okay, let's come with the word anti-Semitic. So they can't separate themselves from us. If they separate themselves from us, we're gonna come broke. We're gonna have to go back to Kazakhstan and Pakistan and all these countries. But how can we take their money and fool them, just like the Asians, just like everybody else, pay their money, not to their community, but to our community? There's a very good reason to use the word anti-Semitic. Kanye West is a prime example. His shoes, his clothing. The Jews was like, no, you making billions. No, you anti-Semitic. Kanye, he say, I'm about to go. What word he use? When he say, I'm about to go, what word he use? Let me know in some comments. What word did Kanye West use? And it wasn't anti-Semitic, but DEFCON, he said, I'm about to go DEFCON on. Right? But let me know what you think about it in the comments. But this is just a little recap of the word anti-Semitic, where it come from. It's basically to take out money from the black neighborhood, the Indian neighborhood, the Indian reservations, and all this money to get to them, so they can come and own everything in North America, which they did. All secrets revealed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you can't play that shit no more. It's all anti-Semitic. We call what you doing the slave ownership. We can't play that.
So sticking with the whole timeline theme, one of my followers sent me this video today of a man named Alex the Volunteer. Now his whole dilemma is last year, same time last year, it comes up as June 29th, 2025. He was making a video about a Chilean pine tree called the monkey puzzle tree. And it's a pine tree. You can see the little cones, so on and so forth. But this year, there's a totally different tree in that spot. And he says he doesn't understand how they would have dug that tree up, remove that tree and put this tree in there in its place, but it's huge already, and around it all the foliage and everything is different. So watch the video. I'll come back to it.
I thought I was going crazy because I filmed this last year. This is called a monkey puzzle tree, or a Chilean pine. I'm fascinated by its pine needles. They are sharp, like cutting sharp, and they form these bulbs at the end of their leaf system. It's the same spot where the monkey puzzle tree or the Chilean pine was, and I've been looking for it, and it's gone. I don't understand how they replanted. This was only last year. I still have last year's footage on my phone, and this is the exact location. The only explanation is I've shifted realities. I guess I'm in this reality now.
Listen, Alex, I'm gonna let you finish, but why are Trees having the best album of the year? No, something is up with Trees. Now we got this. Before that, that man swore that tree was moving. Remember, that was all the big talk, the big uproar, the beginning of the summer so far, right? At the floating tree branches from every level, not just Dakota, even though he says his was a prank, it wasn't just him. I made several videos on all these floating tree branches. Got a new one too. Then we got Trees screaming. You get closer to him and you hear like these frequencies, this pulsating but an underlying scream. What's going on with Trees? We're either having the best year of all time or the worst. I don't understand. But I like Alex, and you know why? Because Alex says to himself, the only thing that makes sense is if I completely, switch timelines. And I'm okay with that. I realize that. I accept that. I have all the evidence I need to prove that. It is what it is. This is what I want y'all to do more of. Don't be fearful of it. If it happened, it happened. It has clearly happened to Alex. I mean, it's clear. It's the same spot. If you look in the background, because of course that area is different, but if you look in the background, it's the same house behind it and the same neighbor's house on the side of it. Like, there's no way around that. I mean, if Alex really wants to prove that he has timeline shifted, he can always ask those people. I don't know if those are friends of his or not. You can always ask, or ask your neighbors and say, hey, did you guys see them doing any work around here? But he doesn't even really need to, because he knows that he's in a different fucking timeline and he's okay with that.
He's okay. I'm okay. Fuck. Different shit.
Your hair will need to grow longer. Male or female, doesn't matter. You need to grow your hair longer. Well, what's the hair got to do with this? Well, I want you to understand that hair is connected to the seventh chakra. The seventh chakra is the top of the pyramid of your body. This is where all the energy comes out during a Kundalini activation or awakening. As that Kundalini comes out, it flows down the hollow tubes that each hair is, the keratin that each hair is made of, and it flows down in. And the more hair you have, the longer you have it, the greater level of spark and energy that your Kundalini will give off.
You know, it's funny when you can feel that electric charge in your body. I don't know if you guys have gotten that yet. I feel like static shock lately. I ain't gonna keep it moving though. I'm gonna end it here. Like, thank y'all for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Celebrating with your boy. We almost there, y'all. Almost there, man. 600 more watch hours. All we need to get 600 more. Don't forget, watch the old shows. They still there, man. They still there, but keep it moving. Catch y'all on the next one, though.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. The water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Mars. Only a fool would include his own death as part of a plan. Young lady.
Mars so cold, I think I'm done with ice. Birds, if I leave her, she gon' die. Well, bitch, you done with life.
Hey, and nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free.
The real flex is how many lives you can positively impact. It's not about cars, clothes, or clout. Influence means nothing if you're not helping somebody to grow. The legacy you leave won't be measured by what you had, but by who you helped. Real power